various situations, yeah, that never fail to come and causes stress that hinders us, right, from moving forward. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about some of these issues and how we can cope from there. Yeah. So before we proceed, I'm going to run through some of the guidelines, yeah, that we have today, so that you can ensure that the workshop runs as smoothly as we can. Yep. So once again, thank you all for joining us and thank you for being on time. So, first thing I would like to highlight is that throughout the entire workshop, yeah, do ensure that you are muted, okay, so that doing there will be no interference, okay.
Okay.
Ben, you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Where did I stop? Yep. So I muted beforehand. Yep. So once I just want to remind all of you to mute your microphones so that later when the sharing is happening, there's no like interference. Yeah. And next, okay, I just want to remind all of you that if you have any questions, yeah, because maybe some of the questions that you ask might be a bit personal. So what we want to do is to ensure that everyone's confidentiality is protected. Yeah. So what we would like to request you to do is that for any questions you have, PM, okay, go to the chat and private message Pastor Anand. Okay. So later I'll introduce the moderators that are in the group so that you know who you can reach out to if you have any problems. Yeah. So private message your questions to Pastor Anand. And if you have any problems, okay, so now here let me introduce the people that you can reach out to. Okay, in the chat, okay, you can find these two young men, Wei Jian and Gabriel. Okay, they are the technical assistants. If you have any questions, you can either private message them, okay, or put it at the chat and they will attend to you. Okay, and throughout the entire workshop today, okay, it will be moderated by me and Pastor Anand. Okay, and so here is the order of workshop. Okay, we have the welcome for everyone, and we're going to intro the speaker later. And later after, we have the talk, and which will be followed by the announcements. And then we have a short break where we will go to our breakout rooms. Okay, so later I'll give you more announcements and information on that. Okay, where we'll have the Q&A. Yeah. So now I know that all of you have been waiting patiently. Yeah. So let's quickly proceed. Okay, and I would like to introduce our speaker this afternoon. Yeah, our special invited guest who will be coming to share with us. She is Dr. Serena In. She has a PhD in psychology from Monash and also a master's in clinical psych. Yeah. And aside from that, okay, she is also a affiliate member of the APA and also a member of the Malaysian Society of Clinical Psychology, and also a clinical member of the Malaysian Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, and also certified under various associations in US. Yeah, so you can see that she has a long list, yeah, of her qualifications, and currently, yeah, she is the head of the so sorry, currently now no sound. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yep. So I'll continue. Now, so Dr. Serena has more than a decade of clinical experience in providing psychological assessments and interventions for individuals, couples, and families who are dealing with depression, anxiety, grief, academic or work stress, yeah, pregnancy, postpartum challenges, parenting, and relationship difficulties. She was the head of counseling unit at Calvary Life Ministries, also known as CLM, which is a non-profit organization from 2017 to 2018. Now, currently, she balances her time for clinical practices in two private center settings. One is the IMU Healthcare Medical Clinic and Seed Connections Child and Family Psychology and Learning Services. She is also the program director and a lecturer in the undergraduate psychology program at IMU Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so without further ado, I have to pass the time to Dr. Serena.
Hi, good afternoon. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to this afternoon's workshop session. Thank you, FGA, for having me back again. It is such an honor to be back. FGA and I go way, way back to when I was a little child under 10 years old. Yeah, so I really, it's so wonderful to be back. And I see such a big crowd as well. So, you know, this session is really meant to be practical as well as informative. So I hope that you have some take home from the things that I'm about to share with you. Yeah. So thank you, Ben, for introducing me, and we'll just go right in. Okay. Right. So I just wanted to start with this quote, which is, "There is no health without mental health." So as a clinical psychologist, mental health is really, really close to my heart because it's as important as health. Okay. And sometimes in a church setting, we find that it's a little bit hard to talk about mental health. So my aim, you know, every day and in all the work that I do is really just to make this topic less of a taboo, just more conversational, something that is really everyone's responsibility. Yeah. Okay. So the agenda for today is, oops, I'm not able to move my slides. Okay. I'm going to cover what is stress, and I think we're all familiar with this. Yeah. Talk a little bit about sources of stress. And we're going to even mention like what happens to when we have unmanaged stress over long time. Okay. And then we'll cover some coping skills, common ones that people do, healthy and unhealthy. So for some of the things that we're going to talk, it's nothing too new to you actually, but some of it will be new. So if you're already practicing some of these things, kudos to you. Okay. So it's an affirmation of what are the things you're doing right, healthily. But if you also find that you relate to some of the unhealthy things, okay, then take note. All right. And then we'll end about talking about how can we get help if we need that help. And then we'll have that interactive Q&A session. Okay. All right. So to begin with, I thought let's all have a quick measure of how we are currently doing. Okay. So it's actually a very simple 10-question little test to just see how stressed out you are right now. Okay. And I just did it yesterday, and I just wanted to see how long. You shouldn't take more than 3 minutes. Okay. So I have here with me today 2 of my clinical psychology interns, and they are Jamie and YY. So they'll be assisting me with a few things, and you will see them later as well. So is it in the chat box, the link?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and do it, and don't have to report to me. Okay. Just more when you get the results, you just kind of have a gauge of where you are. Okay. I'll just give you a minute or so.
Doctor, are we supposed to see any question? Can't hear you, you're muted.
Hi, sorry. Yeah,
Hi.
the link is in the chat box. Did you all see that?
Link is in the chat box, okay.
Yes. Don't worry if you didn't have time. I don't mean to emphasize so much on this, but it's just a good indicator for those who are able to manage.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So some people are done. Yeah. Okay, I just give about 20 more seconds. Okay, the rest right here, maybe can do some stretches. Okay, so I assume that most have done. Yeah? Still doing. Okay, let's have a view. Many are looking very serious.
I don't know how to work with the chat box.
Oh, okay. You don't see the chat box, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Not to worry, really.
Yeah.
Those who manage to, it's okay. Yeah, it's really, this is not a must. It's just a little activity. If you couldn't get into the chat box, no problem. Okay, never mind.
Right.
Let me resume.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So anyway, those of you who managed to do this, yeah, you should see some of your results, right? Maybe mild or moderate or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So don't worry about it if you didn't get to do it. Yeah. Don't worry at all. Just a quick self check actually. Now, mind as I go through the content, you can also assess for yourself, asking yourself, how stressed you're feeling. All right. So let's move on. Okay. Yeah. So this is how I look like every morning before I drink my coffee. Okay. So just wondering if y'all can relate to your stress level is like that. So if you can relate to this picture, maybe your stress level is very, very high. Okay. And maybe that's why we're here today. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my slides are not moving. Give me a second. Okay. So what is stress? We all know it because we feel it, but let's just have a working definition, okay? A lot of people think that stress is like a no-no, like we must not have stress, no stress. It's not possible to not have stress. I just wanted to clarify that, okay? Everyone has stress. Me, I have stress every day of my life. Definitely I have stress, okay? But what kind of stress is what matters. So it's the reaction that people have to excessive pressures or other types of demands placed upon them, okay? So the key word here is reaction, okay? So if you're having pressures in your life and it's excessive, demands, we all react to it, and the way we react to it is the stress. And what happens next? You worry you can't cope. So I believe we can relate to this definition. Yeah. So if you're a mathematical person and you like formulas, okay, this one might work for you. Okay. So S, stress, is when the pressure that we all feel from various sources is greater than the resource that we have. Okay, resource, we'll talk about that in a bit. So resource refers to the things that we all have in existence, personally, family, externally, internally. Okay, so how does stress look like? I don't think I have to go in detail. I think we can all relate in some ways. So if you can pick some of these symptoms, like maybe you're experiencing more than 5 of them, you can say you're moderately stressed and a moderately to quite severely stressed, okay? So you get headaches very often. Actually, headaches, of course, can be a sign of many things, but often headaches are one of the first indicators of stress, by the way. And I do get that virtual world a lot, working meetings, talks, yeah, basically non-stop stuff, okay, or pressures in a day. So you tend to get headaches. Anxiety, we'll talk about this in just a bit. Yeah, you find yourself bursting into anger very easily, more than your usual self. We're talking about stomach problems. Yeah, this happens like it could be you get more gastric, for example. Okay, because when our body is experiencing stress, right, physiologically our digestive system gets affected the first, by the way, besides headaches, digestive system. So one is it produces way more stomach acid, and so you get gastric, or you can also have indigestion. So it can be either one. Or another one is you can also start to have loose bowels. Yeah, so it's like your whole digestive system is shaken, okay, and it's very obvious when someone's going through a lot of stress. So pay attention to your body. Fatigue. So if you sleep like usual, but you feel tired, and a lot of my clients will tell me, I'm just feeling so tired. I sleep 8 hours every day, but I'm just feeling so tired. So prolonged stress leads to that, yeah, and you start to have some of these other symptoms as well. Muscle tension, very common. I sit at the computer most of the day as well. Yeah. So I have to take note that when I start to feel a bit stiff or I'm feeling aches and all, it's time to really be stressed. So everything that I'm sharing with you, I experience most of it because I'm a human, first of all. Although I'm a psychologist, I'm also a human and I experience it. Okay. So just paying attention to how often you experience this, and then you'll have an idea of how stressed you are. So those of you who just came in and you didn't manage to do the test earlier, no worries. You just see from this list what are some of the symptoms you're experiencing. Okay. Okay, next. So I said just now, it's not possible to not have stress. Okay. We all experience some form of stress at some point in our life. So the difference though is to know the difference of when it's a positive kind of stress versus negative stress. So like I said, a lot of people think that, no, I want to eliminate stress from my life completely. Actually, that's not exactly healthy. Why? Because positive stress, which is also known as eustress, is something we all need. We need like something to motivate us, yeah, and make us more aware of things. So like you guys attending this session right now, actually I wanted to affirm all of you that you are taking your precious time to learn something for yourself, hopefully, first of all, and then for people around you that you love and you care about, right? So if some of the things you're listening to and you're like, oh my gosh, oh no, I'm having some of this, then that's like an awareness, and that's a good thing because hopefully it spurs you to deal with something. All right. And when we have challenging situations, we need that motivation. So deadlines, yes, can be negative stress, but without a deadline, how many of us would actually do some of the tasks? Most of the time we won't. So actually timelines, deadlines, all these kind of things, if you perceive it, right? Remember the reaction? Yeah. If you perceive it and we are able to manage accordingly, it is positive stress in a way. Yeah. Because otherwise, without these goals, without these timelines, I think many of us would just chill and not do anything. Yeah. So give us that sense of urgency and alertness, especially in threatening situation. So positive stress is a very, very important thing. Then of course, we also have negative stress, which I think all of us are familiar with. It's when it's excessive, when it's prolonged, okay? Prolonged means it just one after another, yeah? Extended period of time. So this pandemic is an excellent example of negative stress for a lot of people because we didn't anticipate. We thought March 2020, like, we're just on lockdown for several months. Many people thought, towards the second half of the year, they thought things would get better. They thought 2021 was going to be completely like, yay, life is back to normal. How were people to know, right? 2021 seems harder than 2020 from the feedback I get from a lot of people and from myself too. So prolonged, yeah, being enclosed at home, stuck with family members, prolonged and unrelieved. So event after event after event, more things happen. Okay, so negative stress is when it starts to take an effect on you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Okay, so think about, as I'm saying this, can you identify what are some positive stresses in your life and what are some negative stresses in your life? Yeah. So hopefully you can think of some positive stresses. So for example, being in a relationship can be negative stress or can also be positive stress, because sometimes being in a positive relationship, it spurs you to want to become a better person, to improve on yourself. Okay, so anyway, I'll go on to the next slide on causes of stress. As you can see, two types in general. So external means anything and everything outside of you. Okay, so your physical environment, like I said, the pandemic, many people, their physical environment was a huge stressor, because some people, they stay at home if you have a very comfortable home, your life is comfortable. Yeah. But if you are stuck in a small apartment or a very small unit with so many family members, all these while you all have your separate lifestyle, right? Suddenly you're prolonged, stuck together with these same faces day in, day out. You start fighting more than usual, for example. So external stressor, or your home environment is not so comfortable, or it's a lot of repairs needed, something like that. Yeah. Family, social. So family, we're referring to family members. I get a lot of people telling me, oh, my so-and-so is the one that's stressing me out. my my parent, my sister, and they are the cause of all my stress. Yeah, so someone outside to them. Social, anybody in your social world. So friends, your home fellowship members, cell group members. I'm just teasing. Okay, but basically people in your social circle. It's people in our social circle can be very enriching for our lives, but there are also times they can add on a lot more stress to us, isn't it? Yeah. Daily hassles. Actually, I'm thinking this for me, I was reflecting, has changed quite a bit. Before the pandemic, I used to go out a lot, like I'm driving to and fro work and all this. So a daily hassle I used to really be so frustrated about was traffic jam. Yeah. So just I think we all can relate staying in the Klang Valley. Being stuck in a jam, your time and your energy is sucked up every day. You know, um, you have to plan your time so far ahead and everything. So it's very, very tiring and it adds a lot of stress to a lot of people. Yeah. So for me, this is something I appreciate about the pandemic. I get to stay home more in that I don't have to drive around that much. I find my stress has reduced because of reduction of daily hassle. On the other hand, then there's the grocery aspect, for example, or to get access to things. So depends on what your situation is, daily hassles can be very stressful. And sometimes these are things we can't avoid as well. Yeah. Fourth one, major life events. I think we all know this. So this one happened a lot as well during the pandemic. Losses in your life, yeah, being told suddenly there's an illness diagnosis, something new happened, something changed, someone lost a job, somebody is in trouble, that kind of thing. Major, very major and big life decisions. Okay, taking up, finding a new job, yeah, going for job interviews, breakups, people having a new baby, stuff like that. So all these are stressful. It's very interesting when people are experiencing a major life event and actually remember just I sometimes people think they it's like stress is like a taboo, right? So it's like no stress. They want to think that my life should not be filled with stress. And if they're going through a major life event and they don't even acknowledge it. So that's something to take note as well. When we're going through a major life event, acknowledge first and foremost, I'm going through so much. So it is understandable it's a stressful time. Okay, external. Now internal, this is the one time to reflect on all of us. Yeah. So internal stresses are things that are within ourselves. Lifestyle choices. So depending on what you do with your life, these can cause you to have more stress. Yeah. So if you choose certain things that you do in your life, okay, certain patterns and all that, that can add more stress. Secondly, you have a tendency to negative self-talk. So you think about, I'm so lousy at this. I'm such a failure. Or which are very common thoughts people experience, or everyone must be laughing at me. People are looking at me and thinking I'm, just to let you know, self-talk is happening all the time, right? I'm sure you all can relate. As I'm giving this talk, I'm having self-talk within myself too. So I have to decide what I want to do with my self-talk, right? It's either I tell myself something positive or I tell myself something negative in that sense. Yeah. But if you have a perpetual negative tendency, this will add stress to you because even when things are going well, you keep on thinking about negativity. So negativity will lead to more negativity, and then your whole world is filled with stress about the negative things. Okay. If you are also having weakness in a particular area, like you feel like you're inadequate in certain areas of your life, and you zoom in on that, that causes stress as well. Fourth one, your personal expectations about yourself and also about people. That differs from person to person, and that can make a big difference from one person's level of stress to the next person. Yeah. So like expecting that I need to be perfect or I need to achieve 10 things, every day, or by 30 years old, by 40 years old, by 50 years old, I needed to have done this already. Yeah. I'm already in my 60s. I should have. All these expectations add on stress. Finally, personality traits. So that one is a big area all by itself, but I'm sure you're not new to this. Yeah. We all have different personalities, and the better we understand ourselves, the easier it is to work with ourselves. When we understand, then we accept, and then we work with ourselves to address either weaknesses or using our strengths. Okay. So what are helping coping? Remember I said everybody goes through stress, right? So if you've used some of these things, very good. Keep it up. Okay. Healthy coping. You use exercise. So when you're feeling stressed out, highly recommend for exercise. And I do this myself too. So one thing that affected me about the pandemic is the swimming pool was closed for such a long time. So I found swimming one of my go-to for distressing, because I love water when it's cooling. The weather is so hot and humid, right? So when I've had a frustrating day, super angry at something or somebody, I will go for a swim. I literally trash it out with the water and swim in the pool, and I either like work it out in my head, or I talk to God, or I vent everything out, kind of thing. And then when I do that, after I'm done, I feel the cool water just cooling down. That's an example. So when the pandemic hit, I couldn't go to the swimming pool. I had to find other means. So then walking was allowed, sometimes wasn't allowed. So then I did some home workout. So using whatever. So if you're doing this, keep it up. But exercise is a great, we call it catharsis, where you have that, you are able to let out that energy because you're frustrated, right? Or you're stressed, right? So you let it out. Okay. Talking about your problem. So this is another thing. Sometimes people don't feel like they can. So actually talking about it to someone that you care about, or just one person. So if it's in the workplace, whether you can communicate this to your colleague, or sometimes even your superior, if it's a healthy, trusting relationship, you can tell your superior, actually I'm feeling really stressed about this project, kind of thing. Or if you're a younger person with assignments in university and all that, it's talking to your lecturer or your peer. Okay, that's one. Not talking about it is not healthy. All right. Seeking social support. So this additionally even more. So you turn to additional levels of support in your life. And I hope that everyone in this room right now, you're able to identify at least more than 2%, not just 1%, at least 2 to 3% in your life could be your family member that you trust, okay? Or could be a close friend, or could be someone overseas, anywhere. So you have a few options, okay? Healthy eating, yep. So I practice this too. Whenever I'm going through a very stressful time, I actually treat myself to a meal that is healthy, because the more colorful, so this is all scientific, the more balanced and colorful your meal is to feed you with the nutrients, it actually, you're taking care of yourself physically, and it will kind of equip you with all the nutrients, and you know what I mean, the connection with food and your health and mental health. So it equips your body to sustain you for all the stresses you're facing. So that's the thing to note. When you're going through a stressful time, actually do pay attention to your eating, because it will really help you to equip you, sustain you, fill you up for the stressful day. Yeah. So I make sure I have like a very balanced, wholesome meal. Yeah. So that's one. And then these other three, seeking professional help is actually a healthy coping. So many times people seek help when it is too late. And I will elaborate on this later part. Okay. But it's part of healthy coping, by the way. It is the best thing you can do for yourself and your loved ones. Because if you yourself sought help, right, you work through your stresses, right, you actually become less of a stressor. Stressor means you cause stress to somebody, stressor to somebody else in your life. So you seeking help is doing wonderful things for yourself, first of all, and secondly, to people you care about. So think about that, yeah? And then part of seeking professional help, you sometimes learn, actually not sometimes, definitely, they will teach you the relaxation techniques, which you can also now in abundance over YouTube. There's so many professionals who put up videos, demo videos for you. Yeah. So later, I think we're going to allocate a short time, if we can, in the breakout sessions for deep breathing. Yeah. So that we all can at least take home a skill to breathe, very basic fundamental skill that actually all health professionals also learn, and everyone can practice. I myself do it on a daily basis when I need to just calm the system down. Finally, problem solving techniques. So this one is something you can either learn on your own through, through your own personal development resources, or you can also get it through professional help. Okay. Then we talk about what is unhealthy. Okay. So let's see which one can you relate to. So you're constantly having this negative self-talk in your head, criticizing yourself. So if you find you have a tendency, it's sometimes people's automatic way. So then it's really not healthy, because sometimes people like to find someone to blame, right? So I blame myself lah. It's the easiest thing. Yeah. So something bad happened, actually unrelated to you, but then you're like, oh my gosh, I feel bad, I feel guilty. Guilt is one of the strongest emotions that are very, very unhealthy for a person, by the way. And I deal a lot with people's guilt when they come in for therapy, and we work through, and I'm so happy to see them liberated from the guilt. Unnecessary guilt that is not, you know what I mean, is not actually healthy. Then sometimes people, so maybe when we went lockdown, we couldn't do so much of that, but I noticed this as well. So the need to just drive really fast, as an example, or in other words, engaging in risky behaviors. So risky behavior simply means you do something out of the ordinary that is a bit potentially harmful to you, right? So driving fast is one example. Doing something, like I said, quite out of the ordinary. Usually speed is one of it, okay? Height is another one. And you could hurt yourself or you hurt someone else, okay? So that is not healthy, but people find the need to, I just need to de-stress, okay? Third one, we saw quite a lot of this happening in a pandemic as well. Some households, there were reports through various NGOs that people, through their stress and frustration, they became aggressive at home. So very unfortunate, and as a mental health field, we're really, really trying to help those who are in this cycle. Yeah. So even if you're not, suddenly you became more aggressive. And aggressive doesn't have to be physically acted out. It's through the way we speak, yeah, and through the way we respond to someone else, not necessarily physical only. Okay. Eating too much or too little. A lot of people went for this. So too little is not healthy because you end up, being malnourished, or you end up losing weight. Too much is excessive and it's not healthy for your body. And then those who have a tendency to drink a lot of coffee. Yes, I'm a coffee drinker and I can relate to that. So when I was more stressed out, sometimes in order to cope, right, I actually drank more coffee, which is not good because it actually will lead to the next thing. Okay, turning to substances that you don't usually use, or if some of you do use some of these, okay, secretively, or in your private life, you do more than usual. Okay, and these are not healthy because it takes a toll on your body, and it may relieve some feelings of stress temporarily, but it does not help in the big picture. So it actually makes it worse, especially if it leads to some form of addiction, the next one. So you get addicted to something as a way to cope. So I would say I didn't put procrastination in this list, yeah, but part of it is like you get engaged and addicted to something, and then you start to not do the things that you need to do. Yeah. So gaming and social media, a lot of people increase this, by the way, during the pandemic because of the increased level of stress. Binge watching, if it's a once in a while thing, is okay. But if you do it to the point that you're not eating, you don't sleep, you forget your responsibilities, you don't spend time with people you love and all that, that's not a good thing. Gambling, so this is also tends to be quite a secretive behavior, and nowadays there's a lot of virtual sites, yeah, so there are these signs of that. Finally, social withdrawal. So if you find that, when you're going through a stressful time, you don't feel like talking to people anymore, your usual people, you want to, like I said, from time to time we may have this, but if it's prolonged, then it's not good. Okay, so stress as well is often related to, is this good so far? You I think it's not too high, right? So stress is also often related to another concept, anxiety. So when we experience prolonged stress, anxiety happens, and anxiety can happen together with stress as well. Yeah, you're constantly feeling nervous, anxious, and you're just not able to stop worrying. So you're worrying about what to do after this, right? You can't wait for the talk to end. You want to quickly get on to your housework or something. Or you're thinking about work tomorrow or Monday, kind of thing. And it's so strong that it's starting to cause you some trouble at schoolwork. Trouble because some people will say, I can't focus at work. I stare at the computer screen for an hour, I can't get anything done. Or I have so many things to do, but I can't get anything done. I can't get started. You start to have troubles in your relationship, so you be irritable, you just don't talk as calmly as you normally do. So this is a problem when it becomes difficult. So unresolved stress, unhealthy coping methods over time, okay, could lead to anxiety as well as depression. Okay, potentially, not saying it will happen. Just wanted to also highlight that sometimes people who experience prolonged stress, not treated, they don't find healthy coping ways, it could also potentially be connected with development of some depression symptoms. Okay, so I just thought I'd make a mention of how it could look like. Because you can see some of this is what we experience even when we're stressed out. Okay, difficulty sleeping, so insomnia or oversleeping. That's a sign. You find your appetite changes. So your usual appetite, you start to do more comfort eating. But I really have to say, again, in this pandemic, a lot of people turn to comfort eating because I did it too. Yeah, it is just a way to treat ourselves. We're so stressed or we're so frustrated with everything going on around in the country, out of the country. Yeah. So it's quite similar with just now we said symptoms of stress, okay? But it becomes a bit more serious when you start to not enjoy the things you used to do. Yeah, things you used to love. Low motivation. So you try your best, but some people tell me, I just cannot get out of bed this morning. Yeah, I tried, I just cannot. And then they take a MC or they take they just don't go to work. Yeah. Okay, so perpetual negative self-talk. And so you see similar things to stress actually, but it becomes more serious when you start to have a sense of worthlessness. You feel like maybe I don't matter in this world. Yeah, so it it could potentially get more severe. Okay, you start to feel very irritable about anything and everything. Like life is so depressing. What's the point of life? Meaningless. You know, where are we going with this? Will this pandemic ever end? So we did see, unfortunately, also an increase in suicide rates. But I think this is not being highlighted in the media. Yeah, but in terms of the reported number, but from what I know from the field, there have been increased. So just something to pay attention to, that this applies to all of us. Yeah, we sometimes go through seasons or periods where we do feel a little bit depressed. It's normal if you can cope and you come out of it. It's not normal when it's prolonged and you're not able to function. You stop going to classes or work. Yeah, or so I just wanted to talk about mental health as a whole, right? So stress is part of our mental health. Most of us, we start out in that sense, in a healthy range, okay? So normal functioning. So we are able to do our daily routines, shower, do all our basic stuff. Then when we experience life stresses, we are reacting to it. Yeah. So again, all of us would have been in this yellow zone many times. But hopefully the stress subsides and then we come back to somewhat healthy again. But if a person stays on in reacting because of continued, remember, prolonged, excessive, unrelieved stress, it starts to become from reacting. So we're trying to react, right? But after all, we get exhausted, we get burnt out, or we start to really lose our energy and capability, then it becomes injured. So actually, quite a number of people, if you're going through major life events and you didn't get the sufficient support that you needed, or you didn't seek professional help when you should, you are injured. And unfortunately, most of the time when you're injured, it's easy to fall into the ill category. So then it becomes a very severe functioning impairment, which means you started out very healthy, you can function, but after a while, you're just not able to do the usual things. And I have to say, many of the times, how do these people look like when you're in which zone? Look like you and me. Because on the outside, we can portray, we can pretend we look okay, but internally, we are struggling. And I do want to mention, sometimes even in the church setting, because if it's hard to talk about mental health, many people could actually be in this yellow, orange, and maybe borderline red zone without realizing, or your neighbor, someone in your group, in your circle, could be here without us realizing. So something to pause and think about. But first of all, we look at ourselves first, okay? So I'm going to talk about how do we maintain mental wellness as a whole, and then what to do if we need more help. Is that okay? Yeah. So like I mentioned, all that we've experienced, we all would be in green and yellow, but we sometimes are in orange. And if we don't do so well, we really continue to face prolonged stress, we come to orange and red. Okay. And this is best time to get help as early as possible. Don't wait until you're in the red zone. Okay. So some very practical tips of how you and I can maintain our mental wellness. So like I said, if you are doing it, good, keep it up and encourage that among your your circle, yeah, people you love. So first thing is sleep. In all my therapy sessions, right, I always check in on a person's sleep, and something I do for myself too. On average, recommended medically, adults on average 7 to 8. Okay, some older adults in their 60s, 70s, they'll tell me, oh, I don't need so much sleep. Okay, fair enough. So our body adjusts over different seasons. Yeah. But on average, we're talking about adults 20s to 40s, 50s. We generally need 7 to 8. Between that, that's quite an optimum. And we're talking about good quality sleep. You don't count. When I was younger, I thought, oh, if I take naps, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, like one whole day, that's counted 8. No. It's 7 to 8 uninterrupted. One prolonged shot. Your body and your brain needs to go through that reset, by the way. Just to let you know, that's all that's happening when you're sleeping. Biologically and also mentally, a lot of stuff is happening. So when you are sleep deprived, it leads to a lot more problems. So teenagers clearly need more. I just wanted to highlight that. Okay, what happens? Unpleasant emotions. So if you find you're not sleeping enough, your mood is one of the first signs, right? So you can tell. I mean, even in my family as well, when I can see when someone's just more grumpy, myself included, it's like, okay, we had poor sleep, that kind of thing, or not enough sleep. So the first thing we will say is, okay, tonight, let's make amends. Yeah. And if someone continues to have sleep deprivation for a long time, the chance of feeling sad and hopeless is very, very high, by the way. Yeah. So, and because you're not getting the adequate reset in terms of your hormones and your brain chemicals that is balancing your mood and all that, you become very vulnerable to a lot of thinking that is not your usual thinking. By the way, just wanted to highlight to you. So those people who are in a suicidal place, one of the common things we'll observe is they were not sleeping well. So their sleep is one of the first areas problems. Then I already mentioned just now about eating healthy as one of the coping, and staying active. So if you haven't been doing that, time to relook at your life. Yeah, if you find that you're always stressed out all the time, the first thing very much in your control is this one: putting in some healthier eating habits and staying active. Active looks different from person to person lah. Okay, so but something to look at. Then thirdly, relaxing and self-care as a priority. I will emphasize this in the next few slides as well. Yeah, but we're talking about relaxing on your own. And some people like to relax together with their spouse, their children. Yeah, but alone time. So relaxing is an intentional effort. Okay, so I'm already thinking. So I've had a really full day today, by the way. So I was just already thinking what I'm gonna do right after this talk, as part of my relaxation and self-care. Yeah. Okay. So I really practice what I say. Otherwise I'll be an imposter. Okay. Connect. So this looks differently, I think, for the pandemic. So if you're really missing, a lot of people are missing their family. They haven't seen each other in a long time, right? So I know video calls are not the same, but it's still better than nothing. And for some people, getting a pet, it does wonders for their mental wellness, because why? The pet is so cute, fluffy texture, they lick you, or, or they also can cause havoc at home. But the point is, they're there. Yeah, so a lot of people actually love having pets as part of their taking care of themselves. Okay, keep learning. So this has to do with eustress, the positive stress. So if you really want to find meaning and just having a more fulfilled life, right? Having that mindset of I want to keep learning as a positive stressor actually will help you to feel less stress in the big picture. Does that make sense? Because you feel stimulated. You're like, I can do this, So you just keep yourself stimulated adequately, not overstimulated, all right? But there's a lot of joy. There's a lot of joy in discovering new things about yourself. So a lot of people, I myself for one, I used to not cook that much, but pandemic, no choice. I have to start cooking. I won't say cooking is my hobby, but I've definitely learned a lot, and I found it very empowering and sometimes relaxing, chopping vegetables and fruits after a stressful day. So I'm like putting all my energy into chopping, for example. Okay. Yeah. 6, communicate difficult thoughts and feelings. So this is if you're stuck at home with family members or a housemate or siblings or children, just communicating that actually you'll be surprised. Sometimes Malaysians will tell me, we don't talk about feelings. It's true, it's very uncomfortable. but it starts with one person. So if you just start the conversation to just say, very stressed, or like today I attended a talk, and I was thinking about how our family is so stressed out. Maybe we should, just start that conversation, and that can really help. You'll be surprised. Another person might say, yeah lah, actually it's such a stressful time, but everyone seems to be doing okay. Everyone looks like they're doing fine, but not necessary. Okay. Yeah. So communicating just helps you feel equal. Number 4 lah, connected. Okay. Next one, learning to be resilient. So this is something, it's a long-term effort, just becoming more understanding and compassionate with yourself, yeah, to reduce that sense of I must be perfect all the time. And I have to say it's a lot of self-acceptance, and this one is a big area, a lifelong effort for me as well. Yeah, but resilience simply means when life hits you down, right? You're from the orange zone, how can you pick yourself up to go to the yellow zone and then to the green zone? Okay, then we're talking about rest as well. So sometimes in the church setting, I think we can get really busy, right? Maybe now pandemic times, not as busy as before. Last time when physically meeting up, we had to do so many activities. I'll ask some of the church members, I see like Saturday is full lah, from morning to night, they're in the church, so very busy. So we actually need to pay attention to rest. And rest is applicable to every single one of us. What could it look like? Time away. And rest, by the way, without feeling guilt, okay? Without feeling guilt. So permission to not be helpful. I know this can be a little bit contradictory, like you think I must always, in a way, as in you're taking care of yourself first, okay? And sometimes just having a day you're doing nothing productive. That is also important for some of us in particular seasons of our life. Connection to art, nature. So nature is a huge area of, what God has made so beautiful to us. Turn to it, smell more flowers, or go out and see green, and just recharge in quietness. Okay, breaking away from your responsibility. So many of us have so many things we're juggling with. Can we take a break? When we say a break, we're not like being irresponsible, we're just taking a break. And that's why for working people, leave is something I highly recommend. We call it taking a mental health break, or just a self-care day. So I do take my leaves as well, like spread out. Whenever I need to, I'll take rest. So something to take note, use your leave to recharge, not just take leave to go and run errands and attend events after events. You know what I mean? Rest, yeah, stillness, safe space, alone time. Okay, and how to help ourselves manage stress or even anxiety and sometimes the feelings of depression is self-care. So self-care looks like many, many things. I won't go through every single detail, but I'm sure you get a sense. It's whatever you need to care for yourself. And that looks different for different people. Okay. And it doesn't always have to be expensive, by the way. It is something that you can be creative, but it's all about this. And you notice at the bottom, journaling. Sometimes just putting your thoughts, everything, venting it out into somewhere safe. Therapy, huge area. So I have clients who regularly come to therapy as part of their self-care. And they are always very thankful to have that space to just process all their life stresses. Okay. Oh yeah, social media detox. Sometimes that's something we work through as well. A lot of my clients, you know why? Because day in, day out, they feel pressured by expectations of people in their circle, and they all feel so tired out by it. So when they do a detox or when they fast from social media, they actually feel very liberated. Yeah. So I do that too from time to time. I just really don't touch my phone for a day or a few days. No, not possible a few days, but usually like a day. And I feel like recharged. Okay. So my take home for you actually is I was hoping you apply some of the things we've covered. I'm gonna give you a challenge, and I if you do it, good for you. Okay, I'm gonna do it for myself too. But I won't see you in 7 days. So this is something you be accountable to yourself and to people in your life. Okay, maybe you can tell your best friend or your wife or your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend. Do one self-care activity for yourself every day. Just try this for 7 days. From today to next Friday or next Saturday. Okay, you try. One, it doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be complicated. And I want you to observe the difference for yourself before you started this and after the 7 days. Okay. And then what did you learn about yourself after that? Okay. this is a challenge if you've never done it before to just start. If you're actively doing self-care from time to time, then this shouldn't be an issue for you. Yeah, but I wanted you all to prioritize and try. If you're up for this 7-day challenge, please go ahead. Yeah, are you all up for it? This is all in your best interest. Okay, so I'm going to take up the challenge myself, but I just won't see you in 7 days. But I'm definitely going to do it for myself. All right. Okay. And then another common one, just now I said, right? Family is a stressor. So a common question I get from a lot of people as well is, how can I support a loved one, right? Someone you know, right? In your home fellowship, your cell group, family, extended family that's struggling. So my question is, what have you tried? So maybe at this juncture, I can see in the chat box, okay, if there is anything any of you have tried. If you have a loved one who is super stressed out all the time or dealing with anxiety or depression, yeah. Yeah, so please do respond in the chat box as well. I will take a look. Okay. Yeah, so what have you tried with regards to supporting them? If you're a friend, being there for them as a friend is very helpful already. Okay. Yeah, listening, exactly. Listening is a great gift you can give somebody. Yeah, and look at the resources you have. Yeah, taking them for a trip and sending them a gift to cheer them up. Exactly, those are something very helpful to show someone that you love and you care for them. Okay, so resources, if you have time, you can spend time with them. If you have you want to give them a gift, exactly, praying with them, dropping them a text, all these, yeah, just sending them different things. Yeah, so those are very helpful, but there are sometimes this will do from a friend point of view, but there are other times when it's not enough. Okay, so this is where I'm just going to end this last bit of the talk about where to get help. And actually, FGA is really situated in such a great location. You already have Family Life as an example, right? So I'll just elaborate more on the difference in case you wanted. So for example, generally there are these 3 different roles in mental health field. Yeah, counselor, clinical psychologist like myself, and a psychiatrist. So I just want to highlight, a psychiatrist is the only person in the list that's a medical doctor. Okay, so you shouldn't be getting medicine from anyone else except a psychiatrist. However, not everyone needs to see a psychiatrist, and I'll explain very soon. Where are these 3 located? Most of them, private hospitals will have, okay, but private counseling centers will have clinical psychologist and counselor. NGO also will have this. So hospital, usually psychiatrists. Psychiatrists also start their clinics, yeah, but counselor and clinical psychologists are in the other centers more often, but some of them are parked in hospitals. Okay, so how they different? A counselor is someone who works, and Family Life has many counselors. Yeah, they help to work with people in the generally the green zone. Yeah, and somewhat the yellow zone. So people with less severe problems. Okay, and the whole point of counseling is to work through your goal setting, your feelings, and all that. So seeing a counselor is really very healthy practice to do, by the way. Yeah, so even us mental health professionals we are practitioners, but if we are going through a stressful time, we won't hesitate to go and see a counselor ourselves to just work through our issues with another counselor. Clinical psychologists like myself, we are trained to do what all that a counselor does, but we also are trained additionally to focus more on mental illnesses that are more severe. Okay, so we do it in a scientific, systematic way. There's assessments that we do, and there's a therapeutic way. So it's a little bit just more systematic and scientific. Yeah. So we cover again those who are like in the green, yellow, and also orange zone and red zone. But there are times if people are in the orange and red zone where they are very impaired already, quite ill, we do need to refer them to a psychiatrist. Okay, so psychiatrist is the one that prescribes medication, and I would say clinical psychologists and psychiatrists work quite closely together in that we handle cases together. Okay, but counselor also can. So it all depends on what is the issue. I would say if you're not sure, you can see a counselor first. A counselor can refer you to a clinical psych if it's beyond their scope. Or you can see a clinical psychologist and we can usually take the case and we'll refer you to psychiatrists when needed. Okay. So in summary, okay, just a quick check-in for yourself. Always start by looking at yourself first. when was the last time you actually asked yourself, am I really doing okay? Stress-wise, anxiety-wise, or even occasionally feeling a little bit depressed. We all feel emotional fluctuations from time to time, and so it's not too unusual to feel a bit down, a bit blue, like I said, yeah. But it's when it becomes the orange and the red zone, yeah. Or when was the last time you asked another person, are you really doing okay? Yeah. So okay is very, very subjective. You have to be honest with yourself. And my take home for all of you is really to seek help early. So in the chat box as well, my intern will put, they've been so helpful to compile a list of just additional resources for you to seek on top of Family Life and other centers as well. Okay, so are you seeing it in the chat box? Yeah, you can download that and feel free to contact any of the lists there to get help. So, okay, I think I have overshot my time. So that's my gist of my session for today. Back to you, Pastor Anand or Ben.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Serena. So I think, yeah, for all of us, that we have received so much from her, I think let's type at the chat there, a note of thanks. Just want to appreciate her for taking time, to come to share with us. And now we would like to come to a time of the Q&A, where I think some of you have already posted your questions to Pastor Anand. But what I would like you to do, okay, so there will be a breakout room, okay, so for the students and young working adults, so I won't go by age, but let's say like if you just started working like for, let's say, a year or two, right, just newly entering the working scene, I would like all of you to move to the breakout room, okay, that is labeled uh, young working adults and students. Let's all go there, where the rest of the adults will remain here. So we take a short break. At the meantime, here are some announcements. So do download the file that has been shared by the interns. Okay, it's very valuable information, and I have posted the feedback form for all of you. So later, for those that go to the breakout room, I will also share it there. Okay, so we're going to take some a break, and if you have questions, you can start posting here, or even to Pastor Anand directly. Okay, so can I have the young working adults and students to move to the uh, breakout room? I'll see you all there.
It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how
Good
far
evening, everyone.
you
For the adults who are here,
go.
can I encourage you? Do you have any questions that you would like to just type in while we wait for a while to sort out the breakout room? So we are taking a short break. Please just put it at the chat box, and we will get Dr. Serena to share. So we will have about 15 to 20 minutes during this session of question and answer. You are welcome to type there just to any questions you have, and then we will pick and choose, and then we will answer. Thank you for joining, and let me remind you that this session is being recorded. Later on, it will be posted at our FGA YouTube link. You can always go back there and to listen again if you missed out on certain things. Later, you can listen to the recording again.
It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. We'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how far you go to say you love us. It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. We'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how far you go to say
I've been receiving some question. Thank you. Can you please continue? Those of you who would like to ask question, you can just put it on the chat box or direct message to me, and I'm forwarding it all to Dr. Serena, and she will answer the questions to you after this.
Are we starting the session already?
Just give us a few, maybe one more minute, Dr.
Okay,
Serena, because
sure.
of the sorting out of the breakout room.
No problem.
When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. 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 It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. I'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how far you'd go to say you love us. It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. We'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable.
Okay, everyone, I think we want to start so that we don't take more time, because we have to come back for the night session. So thank you again for your patience, and many of us has been asking very good questions. I have actually already forwarded everything to Dr. Serena, and so I now pass the time to Dr. Serena, as she's going to answer some of these questions. And then at about 3:50 is a cutoff time for asking question, so that we don't take more time. So you are welcome to ask question while Dr. Serena is still talking, but I'm giving a cutoff time at 3:50 p.m. And then after that, we will not be taking any more question. But don't worry, if you have other question that you need to ask, you can always email it to FGA, and then we will connect back with you through the email and help you with this question. We understand that some of these are real, some of these are important, and some of these we are looking to look for help. And that's the purpose of this workshop, that we are able to direct you and connect you somewhere for help. So if you have questions after this and you need help, just email us at fga@fga.com.my. Thank you very much. Dr. Serena, I pass the time to you.
Okay, thank you. So there are quite a number of questions. Therefore, can you hear me, right? Therefore, I was going to get my intern Jamie to show a deep breathing technique, actually. So if it's okay with you, we'll leave that nugget to the end, okay? Because there's quite a number of questions I think it's important to address. Yeah. Okay, so first things first, yeah, I'll try my best to answer as many, but not possible to answer all, yeah? So hope you all can understand that. Okay, first thing about sleep. So there are a few questions about sleep. In general, I would say the sleep deprivation problem is something the modern society is affected by a lot, simply because we have our screens on our phone, laptop, we have so many devices. This is the reality hitting us, yeah? So if you want to prioritize sleep, you literally got to plan it. And it's something I'm also working on because I have a lot of work, right? And I have young children. I mean, there's just tons and tons of things, but it's a work in progress. So you time it and okay, work backwards. So maybe if you are currently sleeping 5 hours, don't suddenly push for 8 hours. It's not possible. Okay. You go by increments. So from 5 hours, you try to increase to 5.5 hours, 5.5 to 6. You work at it. So on your own, you do your best first to increase and work backwards. So if you need to wake up by 7 every day, of course you can't sleep past 1 a.m. to get your 7-8 hours. You have to sleep minimum by midnight or 11 p.m. Yeah. But the point is you prioritize putting sleep. And if you have a lot of devices, you have a habit which a lot of people have moved to on their phone, try to be away from your gadget about an hour and more before you sleep, because the blue light and just the stimulation that you get is not good for your brain. It doesn't help you to relax and wind down. So that's a real practical tip and something I'm working on as well with myself, my husband, and all of us. Yeah. So sleep is a continued effort. But another way we found helpful for sleep, and it's all scientifically proven, is exercise. So if you exercise a certain time, not just before bed, but like early evening or in the afternoon, you're actually using up your muscles, right? So you get physically tired, and it's a good way to relax your whole body to help you fall asleep hopefully easier. But if you have tried all your usual methods, right, all your usual ways, and it doesn't seem to work, sometimes really going to see a counselor will help, because there's sometimes a lot playing on your mind, and you really need to talk to somebody. You really need to work it through. So with sleep, that's my take on it. It is more than just a physical situation sometimes, yeah, and sometimes a lot of things going on. So going to see a professional counselor or a clinical psychologist, they may not be able to solve your sleep directly, but through working out your different issues, sometimes your sleep overall improves. Okay. All right. So next question. Okay. How come those who are on medication cannot stop taking medication even though they are well? I'm really not sure about what is the situation, but generally speaking, I'm assuming this person is under a psychiatrist's care. Therefore, by right, a psychiatrist will monitor a patient's progress. So if they are doing better, usually there's effort to taper off or reduce the medication dosage. So this is medical expert that they're supposed to do that. If you find that they are well and they're still medication, maybe you need to seek a second opinion with another psychiatrist, okay? Or get assessed by a clinical psychologist as well. So we are trained to assess a person's mental status. Yeah, so that getting a second opinion if you're concerned about this. So I really don't know the whole detail. That's my quick tip for that. Okay, is there a term called silent stress where you cannot identify what? Yes, that is sometimes possible, where you don't know why you're stressed or what's going on, and then it comes out in your physical symptoms, right? So my quick tip for that, seek professional help. When you talk about it, you get to uncover and understand perhaps what are some underlying reasons. Sometimes many people are not aware. We're living in the to-do mode all the time. We're not so in the being mode. So we're not aware of our emotions. We're not so aware of our thoughts. Yeah. So going for professional help can help with that. Okay. Sleep. Yeah. So I already mentioned about the sleep thing. Yeah. So if you're unable to resolve, go and seek counseling. It really can work through your issues over time. It can help a lot. Okay. Okay, what else? Sorry, I'm just running through the questions. How to help someone that refused to submit to advice? Okay, I'm not sure about whether you are expecting the person to submit to your advice, but advice is what it is, isn't it? If you're a friend or a teacher or authority figure, we can do our best to advise somebody, but ultimately, people need to take responsibility for themselves. Yeah. So we can, in all our best intention, even as a mental health professional, we can do the best that we can to want to equip somebody with all the tools and skills. But if someone doesn't want to help themselves, doesn't want or not ready, actually, sometimes people need to be ready. So if you're a friend or a family member or an authority figure, patience and not giving up on them can make a big difference. Okay. So, but yes, again, I will emphasize, send them for help. Yeah. sometimes I do get that kind of referral. Someone coming in saying, "Oh, my sister forced me to come in. My mother brought me here." So they start out like that. But when they build rapport with the therapist, the counselor or the psychologist, hopefully over time they become more ready or open to share. Sometimes it can make a difference. Okay. Next question. How do we deal with panic attacks? I don't have a quick tip for you right now because there's a lot of possible reasons underlying a panic attack. So my tip for you is actually going to seek professional help, because it's really going to be the best thing you do for yourself. Yeah, to work through what are the underlying reasons behind a panic attack. It's not a quick fix. Sometimes you need a longer term effort and help to work through these issues. Okay, so panic attacks are something to be taken seriously, and do seek the professional help that you need. Okay, next question. Due to the pandemic, I've been feeling lethargic and also tend to procrastinate more. Yes, it's called pandemic fatigue. Okay, and keep yourself busy is the way to remove. Is that a way to remove negative stress? I won't say remove. It depends. If you're keeping yourself busy with the other tasks that is not the main task, right, that you're procrastinating from, that's a form of avoidance. And avoidance can be healthy if we need it to stay sane. Yeah, short term, just for a quick while. But if you avoid until you get in more trouble, yeah, you start to like people scold you, or you get in trouble, you get disciplined or that kind of thing, then it's not a good sign if it's a pattern. So feeling lethargic could be a sign of stress, or could be a sign of you're not sleeping enough. So it could be many, many things. Yeah. Again, talk it through with someone you trust and see if that can help. If not, seek counseling. I always channel back to counseling because it works, because it helps, and you get that safe private space. Yeah. And so I'm going to link this to something someone else said about, you want to seek help, but it costs a lot. So that's why I got my interns to compile a list of places that are more affordable. So we range from those that are by donation or free of charge, all the way to those that are under 150. Okay, so yes, 150 per session can sound like a lot, but actually that's on the lower range of the private centers already, by the way. Just to let you know, basically mental health work is a lot of work. So it's perceived value. It's like you go and see a specialist, right, in a private hospital for your stomach issue or for a heart issue or something. It's going to cost a lot. So mental health is like that, but I've already given you the more affordable one. So hopefully it is more options for you. Okay. Yeah, I know it's not cheap for many, many people, and I understand, but it's an investment that you can make in yourself, and you will reap the benefits. Okay, next one. What are some ways to achieve the sleep? I already mentioned that. Okay. The person who is in the 60s and needing toilet break 2 times through the night, so the sleep is interrupted. Unfortunately, that one is, I think, something you got to accept. Yeah. So I know all about that. I'm currently pregnant myself, and I do go to the washroom in the middle of the night too. It's just something I accept. And I'm not sure if your medical doctor is able to help you out, if there's anything medicine can do. If not, perhaps I think people in this category of 60s or 70s, when they have needing to go to the washroom at night, then that's why some of them take short naps in the day to just recharge. Yeah. So I'm so sorry that it is a cumbersome thing, and as long as you wake up feeling somewhat rested, that's the key. Next one. If you have a spouse who don't even listen to you, always think is right. What kind of situation can I do to help him? In this situation, what can I do to help him? Great question. Send him for counseling. You as a spouse, you can. So they're not even listening to you, right? I would assume you are listening to them. Okay, so you start out first by listening to them. Yeah, listening to him. Do your best, and maybe hopefully he has other friends in his life that could speak into his life. But it depends. If it's a marital issue, then I would recommend going for marriage sessions. Actually, a few focused, committed marital sessions can really do wonders for marriage. Yeah, by the way. So I'm a big advocate because I know it works and it helps a lot of people. So that's a tricky one. I feel for you that you have that frustration. But on your part, what is in your immediate control is listening to him. Listening as in give him a listening ear. Sometimes there's more issues than beyond not listening to you. Sometimes it's more underlying mental health issues. Yeah. Okay. So there's quite a number of questions. Let me see. The one who shared about the friend going through depression because of health issues. Yeah, I think this is a more complex kind of case. I highly recommend to seek a clinical psychologist. Okay. So there are many clinical psychologists in Klang Valley. Yeah. So to be able to look into the situation more detailed, yeah, and really look at what is a more holistic approach to supporting this person with medical issues. So it is a long drawn stressor. It is something really need additional support. On top of that, having a supportive family would be a big difference. Yeah. Next one. Work stress. What happens if you are facing a superior always picking on you, either work from home or work in office? Yeah, I think that is something that is a bit hard, right? Because your superior is in power and picking on you. Turn to support in your workplace, like another colleague, yeah, to maybe just, if you can trust somebody there that you can just share. And that's a tricky one because that can be so many issues of you got to see whether is there anything in your control that you can do anything about. Yeah. If I always say when you're in a workplace, you do have a choice whether you want to put up with a certain environment or a certain superior. So if you want to, then it's about finding ways to cope with that person. And so you can also go for counseling. And yes, I have clients sitting in my room ranting a lot about their superior or someone in their life that is, picking on them. So that's one. Yeah. Or ultimately, if you put up with this for years and you cannot tahan already, yeah, it's beyond your threshold, you do have the choice of leaving a job. Yeah. So that's just something, knowing what is in your choice. Okay. Yeah. So again, I can't answer all, but I'll do my best. Maybe one more question. Okay. Is there a step-by-step in stress management and about the fees of counselors? I won't say most of counselors are free, depending on where they're based. If like in family life, I understand it is free, right? Hasanan, in family life?
Yes.
Yes, it is, right? So you're very blessed. Yeah, very blessed and fortunate that family life has that. NGOs, some of them are minimal charges, and my two interns are in my center, and they also see for a minimal price of 50 ringgit. Yeah, so it's a token sum for resources and all that to cover the cost and all that. Yeah. So whether you learn step by step stress management, yes, you can do a very personalized one to your situation if you go for therapy sessions, counseling and therapy. Okay. So yeah, I tried my best to bullet train through that. I will pass it back to, would y'all be able to spare 5 minutes to just learn a deep breathing technique to help de-stress? Would you like that? And Pastor Anand, we have time? Okay.
Yes, you go
So
ahead.
so deep breathing is one of the most fundamental basic skills we can all practice anytime, anywhere. It's free of charge. Okay. So we do it first and foremost to calm our whole system down. So I'm just going to get the help of Jamie. Jamie, you there? To just show us how it's done. All right. Okay. Over to you, Jamie.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Okay, so thank you, Miss Marina. So yeah, for a quick deep breathing session, I just want all of you to, sit back, lean on wherever you are, on your chair, on your bed, and just, follow along with me in this exercise. So a pro tip before we start, your mind might wander during this deep breathing exercise, and you could be thinking about this and that, and that's okay. Our mind just does that and it's normal, but slowly return your attention back to your breathing into the present moment. So before we start, because this topic is about stress, right? And we want to notice whether this deep breathing exercise helps us de-stress. I want you all to think about something stressful, like a thought, maybe like, oh, I'm worried about my children, or I'm stressed about a deadline. So I'll give you some time to think about a thought that has been causing you a little bit of stress. And if you have that thought in your mind, I just want you to lean back and invite you all to close your eyes. Just close your eyes and listen to me as I guide you all through this. So I want you all to just start breathing. Just begin to notice your breath. How the air is just entering into your lungs. And as you exhale, how the air is coming out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And if you want to, you can just slowly slow down your breathing. And inhale. And exhale. Now I want you to place one hand on your upper chest and the other hand right below your rib cage on your belly. And when you breathe in through your nose, the air should move into your nose and into your stomach, where your belly will rise. And when you exhale, imagine as if you're blowing on hot soup, not too fast, so the soup doesn't spill over. And your hand on your chest should remain relatively still. So inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And you find yourself starting to be able to take deeper breaths. And your breath slowing down. And your body feeling more relaxed. And if your mind starts to wander, like, hey, why am I doing this exercise? Or even, what should I cook for dinner? That's completely normal. Our mind does that. Just focus on your breathing again. And you inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And I'm going to wrap this up in a bit, but take a few more deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. So usually I would do this for a little bit longer, but I'm also mindful of time. And yeah, I just want to thank you all for participating, and sure, just do this, and yeah, do this in the morning, at night, whenever you all feel a little bit stressed. And I'll pass the time back to Miss Serena.
Okay, thank you so much, Jamie. So yeah, that's a very helpful technique. Maybe if you didn't get it in this short time, no worries. YouTube is available to everyone. You can just search deep breathing, deep belly breathing, and you follow the video and practice it as often as you need. It shouldn't be deep breathing the whole time, but as and when we need to, just when you find yourself worked up, very stressed out, just calm yourself down. Yeah. In fact, before I did the talk today as well, before any big thing, I also just center myself and just basically bring yourself to the present. Yeah. And then as Christians, if you have a favorite Bible verse, sometimes you want to just meditate on that one verse. It helps as well. When you're breathing, you just like that focus on that, or just God or Jesus, whatever helps you to calm your whole system down. Okay, back to you, Pastor Anand.
Thank you, Dr. Serena and Jamie and YY on the with the youth and young adults. We appreciate your time this afternoon for being with us. And that's it for our afternoon workshop. We want to thank everyone for joining us. We had about 255 just now. So that's a wonderful, wonderful time together. And thank you and God bless you. We see you tonight for our 8:30 p.m. service. At 8:15, you can join in the YouTube chat to greet and welcome everyone. And so with that, let's pray and let's commit this time to God. And we just want to thank everyone for being here. Dear God, we thank you for our time together. And I want to pray for everyone who joined in today. We ask that you bless them. We pray for the peace of God to be among everyone, every home, everyone that is represented here, every family that is represented here. We speak peace. We speak the presence of God. We speak your comfort. We speak your strength. Lord, we come with different kind of needs and areas, but we thank you that you are sovereign and you're watching over us and you love us. We thank you so much for Dr. Serena and the two interns, for Jamie and YY. We pray that you bless them, especially their time with us, that Lord, that you reward them, you enrich them, and that Lord, that you will take care of them also. Father, this afternoon, as we close this time together, we thank you and praise you, for you are good. In Jesus' most precious name we pray. Amen. God bless you and see you all tonight. Goodbye.
Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on.